Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Angelica, aka Your Fuzzy Scarf. I need to think of a new opening. I do that every time. But today I am here with another Fashionphile unboxing. So let me adjust my hair and tell you all about it. Okay, so I'm sure that this is the first video you're seeing, to be totally honest, but if you scroll back through my videos, I recently put up another Fashionphile unboxing, also of a Chanel bag, that unfortunately went awry, and it was not Fashionphile's fault whatsoever. It was more so maybe my fault for not thinking about the major differences between a vintage Chanel bag and a brand new one. And so I thought that I was prepared, but actually it turned out that the style of the older Chanel bags, meaning 20 years or older, really is very significant, especially in the lambskin, which is what I had purchased. And so prior to this, as I said in my last video, I've only owned one Chanel bag, and that is the Grand Shopping Tote, and it is, I'm actually looking at it off camera right now, it is in caviar leather in a bright red. And so for that reason, I thought, you know, let's try something different. I already have a red, let's go for a brown or a more neutral color that's a little bit easier to wear on a consistent basis. And unfortunately, I got the brown, and I think the brown actually like added to the fact that it looked like so vintage and not my style at all. And so I tried to make it work. I couldn't make it work. So actually it's still on its way back to Fashionphile right now. With all of that said, I still had to feed my craving for a Chanel bag, and so I decided to try a different style, different color, and see how that pans out. So that is what we have here right now. We have another box that I'm going to open on camera, and I am praying to God that this will work out better. This is from the 2010s, which is the decade that we're still in. I don't know why I made it sound like it was a different decade, but we're almost out of it. This is from like 2012, 2013. It looked like it was in very good condition. I'm opening it right now as we speak. And I have like all this adrenaline inside, so I feel like I don't even need scissors. These bags, I will say that these bags are too expensive to just settle. Like, you know, if you go to Forever 21 and you buy a blouse or a pocketbook from there, it's like, okay, it was $10, $20, maybe you can settle, but like when it's something that's this much money, you have to really, really love it in order to spend that kind of money. And while I'm finding that Fashionphile is a phenomenal company so far, I'll let you know how the refund goes and everything, though I have gotten a refund from them before and it went smoothly. It's just out of their control, the fact that it's very difficult to buy something that's so expensive sight unseen. Even if you've seen a brand new version of the bag like I had at Chanel, when you actually get one that's like this, you know, it's one of a kind in the sense that they only have one of them. And so it's not like you're getting one in a package all nice and clean. They do their best to give you a description, an honest description of it and its flaws because it's been used, but a lot of times the picture does look great and the reality is just something different. So with all that said, here is the box. So we have the Fashionphile again, which I do really love how these are customized boxes. I think that's such a nice touch. And so inside, I'm actually going to get to this pretty fast because I'm curious for myself. Inside, just like the last one, we have an envelope that contains the authenticity information. So of course they guarantee that it's 100% authentic, and that's something that they pride themselves in. So if you ever find that it is an inauthentic bag for whatever reason, they will refund you 100%. If you need to refund for any other reason, you have to have the tag still on, which I will show you. They also have a thank you card inside, of course with their logo, and then again they have a calendar. And so I had a calendar last time as well, and I actually ended up returning everything with the bag. I mean everything, my receipt, my calendar, my little nail file that said Fashionphile on it, everything. Okay, so they also come with a Fashionphile nail file as well with this one, and on the back it says, I like my money where I can see it hanging in my closet, and I think that that is a Carrie Bradshaw quote from Sex and the City, so I do appreciate that. I've had many Fashionphile nail files, and I've never seen one with that quote on it before, so that is very cool. My last one came with a receipt at the bottom, so I'm kind of hoping that this one does as well. Really funny because like you expect when you're spending a lot of money on something, you expect like a big box and like a big item, or at least I do. And so it's always like a little jarring when I see like a little thing and I'm like, wow, I spent that much money on something that little, holy cow. And so that's another like mental thing I need to get over. Okay, so the bag that I purchased this time around is actually more expensive than the last time. Yeah, I'm actually just losing my mind as we speak. Do you see my mind just like floating away? Because that's how I feel mostly every day. So this one is the Chanel Caviar leather, which is very important to me this time because I want to have it a long time. There is a whole backstory to this, but okay, so it's a Chanel Caviar quilted clutch with chain in dark red, which is actually a burgundy, hopefully. That's the way it looked online. And that is important to me because, like I said, I have the bright red one already. So I guess the little backstory very quickly is that I did go into a Chanel boutique in between the last one that I returned and purchasing this one. I showed a very, very nice sales associate in the Nashville store a couple different pictures of bags that I was considering that were within my price range in the used arena. And so he was very honest with me, and he said that, you know, even if lambskin is really nice upon purchase, over the years there's really nothing you can do about the fact that the quilted material will flatten. And so I was just thinking, if you're really investing in a purchase where you want to have a bag for your whole life and even hand it down to somebody after that, you want to have something that's really going to sustain and hold its shape. And Caviar leather holds its shape. It doesn't get as scratched, so there's a lot of perks to it, and that is exactly why I chose to go with this. So we will see. I'm going to open it right now. So again, it does come in the Fashionphile dust bag, and it has the Chanel original dust bag with it, or so it said in the description, so we shall see. Okay, I see it. Okay, we're doing good so far. Okay, here's my thought. Here's my honest thought, okay? Okay, I like this one a lot more. We'll show it. Here it is, okay? We're gonna open it, we're gonna see. This one feels a lot less delicate than the one prior, so that's already a fantastic thing in my opinion. The other one just felt like I was like holding like an old art piece, and I felt very nervous about it. This one feels like something tangible that I could actually like bring with me places, which is fantastic. It comes with the original dust bag, like I mentioned. Very simple dust bag, just says Chanel. And this is the clutch. So the first one that I had was a medium classic flap. So that had the double flap inside, which was very nice because the leather was in pristine condition in the interior portion of it. It's also completely 100% leather interior. I believe this one is as well. But this is more like a traditional handbag. The other one just felt like it did have that special je ne sais quoi sort of like thing that you don't normally see because of the double flap. So when you open it, you're feeling like you're going into more of a luxury nighttime bag as opposed to an everyday bag that this one very much feels much more like. This was ranked in very good condition, and once again, to just kind of relay the same information I gave in my previous video, they rank their bags as fair, good, very good, excellent, and new. And so very good is great, really. I mean, when you think about it, good is good, very good is kind of great. And so this does look like it's in great condition. You can absolutely tell, of course, that it has been used, but because it is caviar leather, you can't see any scratches. Whereas on the previous one, I absolutely saw some scratches, and I saw some places where the leather had chipped off, and that concerned me the most because when I was using it, I used it for 2 days to try to get a feel of if I wanted to keep it. And with that one, the issue is that I felt that the leather was so old that I was going to chip it off just by, you know, touching it and using it. And I thought, if I'm feeling that way after 2 days of owning it, then I don't want to spend any more days owning it because I'm just going to ruin it, and it was too much money. Plus, I did, again, feel that the brown was not the right color for me when I saw it in person. So I believe that this, while it is red, I feel that this is a more usable color for me in my color palette and scheme and things that I like. I was considering, just so you know the background also, a black lambskin Chanel bag in this exact same type. So this is, again, the clutch with chain. So you cannot crossbody this, and I knew that coming in. You can only wear it like this, or obviously, you know, like in the crook of your arm, which I can see myself wearing in that way. This is a little bit bigger also, believe it or not, than the medium classic flap. The medium classic flap is actually very small. And I can't believe now that it's popular to have even smaller Chanel bags. I just don't even understand where you put stuff. But I have no idea what I was just saying, by the way. I just feel that this is a good everyday bag. I don't feel as scared of it. I definitely do not feel that, although this is leather as well, it's a completely different type of leather, and it just has that pebbled feel that makes me feel much more comfortable actually using it. And I just cannot be one of those people who buys a Chanel bag to have it sit on the rack, because it's just too much money to do that, and I already do that with the other one I have. So it's interesting. I mean, yeah, okay, so I definitely feel the leather inside. It's definitely a leather interior. Obviously this has the silver hardware. The previous one I had the gold hardware, which is a little bit more classic. Though I found that while I believed I wanted a classic look, it turns out that I don't care so much about that. The bright red grand shopping tote I have actually is bright red with silver hardware as well, and I think that the silver hardware actually gives it a more youthful appearance, because the quilted vibe already gives it kind of like an older lady feel, so the silver kind of at least toughens it up a little bit in my opinion. So let me just take a second to look at this. I guess my honest feeling is that I am what I would consider, as far as fashion persuasion, I am more on the trendy side. And so I like fast fashion. I like whatever the trend is. I try to incorporate whatever trend is popular into my attire. And so I would definitely not say that while I appreciate classic things, that I am a classic person. And that's something that I didn't really even like think about or have a reason to think about until I was in the market looking at Chanel bags. I gravitate towards Gucci, and the reason for that I think is because their stores and their style and their latest seasons always convey to me a style that I feel comfortable with, that I know because I'm a very eccentric person in even my home decor, and just like the way I carry myself. So I think the eccentricities of like a luxury brand really appeal to me, and I love, for instance, their Marmont bags that have patterns. I just think they're so cool. So I value Chanel on a different level, because to me it is something so beyond coveted that it's like not accessible. And so for it to be accessible to me is something very special, and I take that seriously. And I think that's why I judge these bags so much harder. And again, because they have such a classic traditional appearance, I almost don't see the value, because I don't see, this is going to come out the wrong way, but I almost don't see the same artistic integrity or like creativity in them like I do with Gucci and Gucci's marketing, their boxing, their everything about them is just so luxe. And of course Chanel is even more so, but it's harder for me to see as a person, as who I am. So with all of that said, I can't keep returning bags. At some point I have to keep one. This is more money than a brand new Gucci bag. I have actually been told by sales associates that Gucci doesn't hold its value as much, so it's much more of a worthwhile investment to purchase something that may seem a little bit more basic, but is still, the Chanel brand. By the way, this is supposed to come with the authenticity card. Let's look inside and see if it does. It does. So that's very nice. And actually it comes with the original tag too, which is really, really awesome. And I'm really happy to see that. And that definitely puts an interesting spin on it for me as well. I said the last time that I was going to keep the bag, and then I returned it. And I feel a lot more positive about this bag than I did with the last one, that's for sure. I think I need to take some more time with it, just like I did with the last one. And I'm really glad to say that while I'm not giving you a full rundown of the bag, the inches, even though I think it's 11 inches wide, just so you know, and it's very thin on the sides, but it can actually hold a lot. Of course, it can hold a smartphone of any size. It can hold a wallet of any size, which is great because I have a big wallet. the rundown that I really wanted to provide to you was a psychological rundown, again, that they don't talk about very often in these kinds of videos. They're more about, you know, the glam and the functionality and all of that, but the truth of the matter is there's a whole saga that goes on in our minds when we're purchasing luxury handbags and convincing ourselves that it is worth the money, or, you know, doing all the research to find the one that is worth the money to us. And so this is the real struggle of, you know, not being rich but still wanting finer things, and figuring out a way to do that and to, you know, get the best thing for your hard-earned money. I have to work weeks in order to buy this. So it is not something like I'm just, you know, Jeffree Star has that incredible collection, but he would not be, you know, freaking out, or he would not be buying a used bag to begin with, but he wouldn't be freaking out over, you know, is this the right color? He just like buy this and 10 more and it would be fine. But you know, for that reason, it means so much to me, and I have to make sure that I have the right one. So anyway, I will keep you updated on how this goes. I think it looks lovely in the monitor that I'm looking at right now, so I think it could look lovely with outfits too. I'm hoping for the best, but again, thank you to Fashionphile for always having a great selection of bags. Thank you for watching. I hope this provided you with some inside intel into how people think when they're on the Fashionphile site and buying used bags. If you bought a used bag of your own, please share your story with me. I'd love to know what you got, what you want, and how you went about getting it. So thank you again. If you love luxury hauls, bags, fashion, shoes, please subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.